Welcome to Story Autopsy, where we fix stories so that you can become a
better writer.
Hello, my name is Sam, and now that the dust has settled, we are going to be fixing the Super Mario Bros. Movie. A sequel is inevitable given how well it's done at the box office and how well it seems to have entertained some audience, although for me personally, I did find some of the story lacking, and I've devised it into 5 categories. We have Luigi's lesson, Mario's motivation, Peach's problem, and leaky logic. And just to throw in a little extra at the end, I've got my own sequel speculation.
The film opens with the villain Bowser stealing some prized mysterious star item from the nearby Penguin Kingdom. We then cut to real-world Brooklyn, where we see the Mario brothers, which is Mario and his younger brother Luigi, are now trying to make it on their own as plumbers. Some people dream big and other people, I guess, dream mid. They do get a first job, doesn't go so well, and everyone they know mocks them for not being the best plumbers. However, when the city experiences a big flood, the brothers decide to prove their worth by going into the sewer system to fix the leak themselves. Here they discover a warp pipe into the world of the video game series. As the brothers are sucked into another universe, Luigi is flung into a dark land, whereas Mario lands in the Mushroom Kingdom. Here he bumps into Toad, who introduces him to the world. Princess Peach by now has realised Bowser's plan to take over the kingdom. Meanwhile, Luigi himself has been captured. Mario bumps into Peach and they team up. Turns out Bowser is in love with Peach and wishes to use the star as part of his elaborate marriage proposal plan. But when he catches wind that a certain mustachioed dungaree-wearing newcomer seems to have caught her affection, he captures, interrogates and imprisons Luigi in hope to track down Mario and therefore the princess. Mario and Peach go to seek help from the Kong Kingdom, where Mario must prove his worth by fighting Donkey Kong. The Kongs join forces with Mario and Peach, and they all set off to go and attack Bowser in Mario Karts. But unfortunately, Bowser has planned an ambush, and it all goes horribly wrong, and Peach is captured, and Mario and Donkey Kong end up falling into the ocean. Oh no! Mario and DK escape the belly of a whale, mythologically speaking. Meanwhile, Peach is forced to get married to Bowser, but not really because all the heroes come together to fend off King Koopa. But in a last-ditch effort, Bowser tries to blow up the kingdom by launching a Banzai Bill. In an act of bravery, Mario lures away a Banzai Bill, but when the Banzai Bill goes into the warp pipe, this creates a chain reaction, forcing the video game world through the pipe and out into the real world of Brooklyn and New York. Bowser has a showdown with the Mario Brothers, where the Mario Brothers win by seizing the sought-after star, and Bowser is defeated and everyone lives happily ever after. Woo!
Luigi's subplot was a missed opportunity to raise the stakes of the movie by making Luigi's arc more transformative. Luigi's arc is to go from coward to brave, but really in the movie he's more of a MacGuffin. That's a fancy film term to mean the object that everyone wants. Think of it like the suitcase in Pulp Fiction, or the suitcase in Ronin, or the suitcase in any other movie. There's nothing wrong with the MacGuffin in and of itself, but they do try to use him as a ticking clock. We keep cutting back to him throughout the movie, but this acts as more an update to remind us that, oh, he's still in prison. Luigi spends his time with characters who are braver than him. Penguin King is confident but unrealistic. The Luma is realistic but unconfident. Both of these characters are opposing sides of the wrong form of brave. If Luigi's arc is to be brave, then it would have made sense for him to learn the true way to be brave, which, let's remind ourselves, is not acting without fear, but acting in spite of fear. To me, the solution is pretty obvious. Luigi's subplot should have been him trying to escape Bowser's castle with these 2 sidekicks. Maybe they were close to escaping and Luigi botched it in the final moment because he was terrified. What if it was Luigi who overheard Bowser's piano recital and was the one that tried to get the message to Mario and people? Maybe that message was intercepted by the blue shell guy who has his own rivalry going on with Kamek in a bid to become Bowser's right-hand man. That way, Luigi's subterfuge is discovered, and that's why Bowser decides to sacrifice them all at the end. Given how often we cut back to Luigi, these small changes were more than possible. As it stands, he's far too passive in the film. This would have made him more active, and it would have made that final transformation much more meaningful and impactful. Mario's motivation. Now, I'm not saying that a character needs to be absolutely transparent. Part of the reason Shakespeare was so successful is that he knew when to adjust the opacity on a character's inner thoughts. But I have to be honest, with Mario, it's not actually clear why he's doing what he's doing. What is going through Mario's mind when he's licking his wounds in the Punch-Out Cafe in the climax of the movie? Is he thinking about how he failed his brother? Is he thinking about what his parents are going to say? Is he thinking about how useless he is? An unfocused motivation makes for an unfocused story. I mentioned this in my Turning Red analysis about how writers will have points in their script where characters are supposed to do the thing that we expect them to do at that point in the script. And that's why Mario's introspection falls flat. There's nothing for him to grab onto because the motivation is unclear. At the risk of turning the comment section into a culture war battlefield, let's just come out and say it. Peach is inert. Her problem is that she has
no problem.
Maybe in your own writing, you like to give a character a flaw so you know what to exploit when it comes to putting obstacles in their path. Maybe the other side, and you like to give them a desire and then through that writing decide what's going to be a challenge they need to overcome. The filmmakers for the Super Mario Bros. Movie chose the latter, which is to protect her people. There's nothing wrong with that as a starting point, but there is a problem when all of her solutions are easily found. In her arc, the biggest turn is when she sacrifices herself to Bowser to spare her people. Yet, her way out of this predicament is so easy. A toad just happens to give her, essentially, the magic key to get out of the locked room. Metaphorically speaking. I don't want people in the comments being like, it's not a key, it's actually an ice flower. What if the virtue of her strong leadership is the thing that creates the problems? Imagine if her strong-headedness to fight Bowser caused a rift in the Mushroom Kingdom. But all right, I hear what you're saying. It's just a 90-minute movie. There isn't enough time to pull off a Phantom Menace, Padme, democracy becomes tyranny subplot in this kid's movie. I get that, and I'm not saying that's what they should have done. No one wants to hear about the Mushroom Kingdom's tax levies. So here's an alternative idea. You make Peach's desire to help her people conflict with Mario's desire to save his brother. Maybe she betrays Mario in exchange for Bowser giving her people immunity from invasion. What if Mario and Peach reached a fork in the road where if she continued on the journey with him, which is what he wants, it would put her people in jeopardy. At least then the conflict between Mario and Peach wouldn't be about who's right and wrong, it'd be about them both being right. Maybe her hastiness to mount an offense against Bowser comes at the cost of adequate defense, so she gets her comeuppance when Bowser manages to get to the Mushroom Kingdom. Passion and selflessness may be a virtue, but if there's no price to pay for it, then there's nothing dramatic. But these first 3 points are really summed up in the next one: leaky logic. When Peach learns of Bowser's impending invasion, she rallies everyone about the need to combat him immediately the next morning.
We are going to stop Bowser.
2 seconds later.
I'll leave for the Jungle Kingdom in the morning.
The reason she has to wait till next morning is so there's an excuse for her to bump into Mario and have that lovely montage. But when you do stop and think about it for half a second, it does dilute the stakes. It does kind of make you go, that doesn't make any sense. Now, inevitably, people will be like, oh, it's just a kid's movie. Well, so's Toy Story, and guess what? That logic is perfect. Why is Cranky Kong initially reluctant to lend his army to the Mushroom Kingdom? But then when Mario defeats Donkey Kong, he's like, whatever, you can have it. Was he really reluctant? Was he being a dickhead? And then we have Toad. What exactly is Toad doing in this movie? I guess he's supposed to be world building. He's there because we, as fans of the video game series, expect him to be there. But here's how you fix it. Why does Peach delay attacking Bowser? Because the council wants time to prepare defenses, and she believes that if she can prove Mario is a great weapon, then she'll be able to get the Mushroom Kingdom on her side. Right? Instead, we have a moment where none of the Toads even know who Mario is.
Who's he? He's not important!
But that would require her to have a reason to think he's going to be an asset. She doesn't witness the peppiness we saw when he was running through the streets of Brooklyn. Instead, she wastes time because he's also a human. What about Cranky Kong?
Their mad king doesn't make alliances. The Kongs will never agree.
Maybe he's reluctant to lend his army to Peach because he doesn't trust her leadership. Maybe she's bad at diplomacy. Maybe she's too arrogant and strong-headed. Maybe she's too young. I don't know, okay? I'm not the one being paid 6 figures to write this script, but maybe I should. And then there's just a few loose ends, like why do the Mario Bros decide to live in the Mushroom Kingdom at the end? Can they go back to Brooklyn? Can people in Brooklyn come to the Mushroom Kingdom? Is that just a known fact now? Are Goombas related to the Toads? Is the Blue Shell guy dead?
Blue Shell!
These aren't nitpicks. These are loose threads where the moment the credits roll, you're thinking, wait a minute. A lot of that didn't make sense. If anyone from Illumination is watching this, you can hire me to come and fix your story. And in fact, I'll know if you're watching this, because if any of my following suggestions do appear in the sequel, I will sue you. Here's my ideas for the sequel. Wario, played by Danny DeVito, Waluigi, played by Kelsey Grammer. I'm assuming King K. Rool is being saved for the Donkey Kong spin-off movie, in which case it would have been perfect if he'd been played by prime Tim Curry.
Smashing!
Or Robin Williams. His knack for improvisation would complement the Crocodile Monarch's flair for theatrics. This guy wears a different costume in every game. Clearly, he's a flamboyant theatrical type. But okay, we open on the Desert Kingdom, Sarasaland, Sarazsalan, Saralauzsalan, the place where Princess Daisy rules.
Nice.
We see a pyramid, an upside down pyramid referenced in the first movie, and a subtle reference to Wario Land 4, because Wario and Waluigi are treasure hunters. They go inside the pyramid, take some treasure, and unleash a big bad. The blame falls on Mario and Luigi through a case of mistaken identity, because of the mustaches and the dungarees. So the Pinata people chuck the brothers into prison, and they must bust out by teaming up with Bowser. Meanwhile, Peach and Toad team up with Daisy to go and clear their name and solve the mystery of the pyramid. And maybe for comic value, Peach and Daisy don't get on. And maybe Mario and Bowser get on a lot more than they thought they would. And while this is happening, maybe Wario and Waluigi go into Brooklyn. Here we go. And smear the Mario Bros names there and make loads of money selling Yoshi eggs or something like that. We saw a Yoshi egg at the end of the first movie, but I don't think Yoshi's going to be a driving force of the narrative. Maybe Kamek makes the Mario Bros babies and you can do the Yoshi's Island story. But really, Yoshi is going to be relegated to cute mascot sidekick. And because Illumination is doing this, 100% they're going to animate him to behave like he's a dog, right? He's going to wag his tail, he's going to pant, he's going to fetch stuff that Mario throws.
Smashing!
If they don't do this, I promise to do whatever forfeit is most popular in the comments section. Within reason, obviously. I'm not going to go to jail, but check back here in 2 years' time. As far as what the big bad could be, if it's going to be front and center of the sequel to your box office smash, it has to be something that can tract with non-Nintendo fans. So Cackletta and Wart are out, even though they're popular with gamers. Petey Piranha is too cringe and lame. So here's what I'm thinking. Tatanga. He was the villain in Super Mario Land for the Game Boy when he kidnapped Princess Daisy. And though he's only been in like 2 other things, whatever, Mamma Mia! You could play the angle that when he is revived from this pyramid, this ancient evil awakes, he is frustrated, resentful, and bitter that he's no longer as feared and infamous as he once was. Alternatively, you don't have that, you just make it a power-up. It could work, but in any case, Mario, Luigi, Wario, Waluigi, Bowser, Peach, Toad, and Daisy all come together and save the day and have a nice big Mario party at the end. And maybe Donkey Kong's there too. And Diddy Kong.
Smashing!